Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. To the viewers of Raham TV, my name is Hafiz Muhammad Usman, and I will be reading the English translation of Fazail-e-Aamal, a book written by the well-renowned scholar, Kutub al-Alam, Shaykh al-Hadith, Maulana Muhammad Zakariya Kandalwi rahmatullahi alayh. This book is a simple translation of a famous book in Urdu by Shaykh al-Hadith, Maulana Zakariya rahmatullahi alayh of Saharanpur, India. Maulana Zakariya rahmatullahi alayh, may Allah Ta'ala have mercy on him and grant him a peaceful abode, was one of the world's greatest scholars on Hadith and was undoubtedly one of the greatest spiritual teachers of his age. Having thousands of murid all over India, Pakistan, South Africa, etc. He needs no introduction as an alim and spiritual guide, since he is following the footsteps of his illustrious sons of Islam, such as Shaykh al-Hadith Maulana Mahmud al-Hasan, Maulana Raipuri, Maulana Thanawi, Maulana Madani, and Maulana Khalil Ahmed. His numerous works in Urdu and Arabic have benefited millions all over the world, and as a wide result of activities of the Tablighi Jamaat as well. Because of the beneficial nature of this book, we felt that it should be translated into English. This humble effort is being placed before the English-speaking public. May Allah accept this work and grant everybody to act upon it. We are starting from the chapter of the virtues of Ramadan. In the following pages, Maulana Zakariya rahmatullahi alayhi has quoted a few ahadith with reference to the blessed month of Ramadan. The Holy Prophet ﷺ has urged us in these ahadith to mend our lives by acquiring the great blessings and virtues of Ramadan. True appreciation would be that we fully carry out these teachings. Our negligence in these days has become so marked that we neither act upon his advice nor repay any heed to it. So much so that very few of us even know about the great good we can obtain from the month of Ramadan. My objective in collecting these hadith in this book is to assist the imams of the masajid, the leaders of Taraweeh, and all the other Muslims who have interest of our deen, to read out and explain this book in the masajid during the first and few blessed days of Ramadan, so that through Allah Ta'ala's mercy and great blessing, we may pay due to attention and to receive the great blessings of Ramadan. This can lead us towards acting on His commandments and keeping us away from evil deeds. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, should Allah Ta'ala guide one person aright through you, that it shall be better for you than a red camel, something that is very pricey and also considered a precious possession. Ramadan is for the Muslim a very great favor by Allah Ta'ala. This favor can only be considered as such if we appreciate it. Otherwise, Ramadan will come and go without us gaining any benefit from it. It is stated in the hadith, if my ummah realizes what Ramadan really is, they would wish that the whole year was Ramadan. Every person knows that fasting for a full year is very difficult, and only because of the great reward for Ramadan mentioned by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam will they even desire the full year to be Ramadan. In another hadith we are told, the fasting of Ramadan and fasting 3 days of every month keeps evil away from the heart. The Sahaba radiallahu anhum ajma'een, the close companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, used to fast even during jihad and on very tiresome journeys, in spite of having obtained permission from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to break their fast. In the end, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to prohibit them from fasting. So much did they exert themselves for not wanting to lose the blessings of Ramadan. Imam Muslim reports that Sahaba radiallahu anhum ajma'een were once on a journey for jihad. It was extremely hot, and due to poverty they did not even have cloth to shade and to protect themselves from the heat. In this condition they stopped at one place, while many of them used their hands for protection against the heat. In this condition too, they were fasting. They were so overcome with weakness that they could not bear the excessive heat and fell down. Some Sahaba fasted throughout the year. There are many ahadith in which the blessings of Ramadan are explained. It is not possible for me to collect them all here, and if I am not to enumerate and explain them all in detail, then readers may become bored. However, now is the time to refresh our mind with them. After all, one need not explain how disinterested we have become in our deen. It is a self-evident truth. I have mentioned only 21 hadith in this book and have divided them into 3 chapters. Chapter 1 on the virtues of Ramadan, 10 hadith. Chapter 2 on Laylatul Qadr, 7 ahadith. And chapter 3 on i'tikaf, 3 ahadith. At the end, by the way, by ending this book, I have included one long hadith. May Allah Ta'ala accept this work through His grace, the blessings of His beloved Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and grant me and all the Muslims hidayah to derive the benefit from it. Most surely He is the good, the generous, and the most kind. Ameen. Hadith number 1. Salman radiallahu anhu reports, on the last day of Sha'ban, Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam addressed us and said, O people, there comes over you a great month, a most blessed month in which lies a night more powerful in virtue than 1,000 months. It is a month in which Allah Ta'ala has made fasting compulsory by day, and He has made sunnah, the tarawih, by night. Whosoever intends drawing near to Allah by performing any virtuous deeds, for such person shall be the reward like the one who had performed a fard in any other time. And whoever performs a fard shall be blessed with a reward of 70 fara'id in any other time. This is indeed the month of patience, and the reward for true patience is Jannah. It is the month of sympathy with one's fellow men. It is the month wherein a true believer's rizq is increased. Whosoever feeds another who fasted, in order to break the fast at sunset, for the feeder there shall be forgiveness of sins and emancipation from the fire of Jahannam. And for such feeder shall be the same reward as the one who fasted. Who he fed without the person, reward being decreased in the fast. Thereupon we said, O Messenger of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, not all of us possess the means whereby we can give a fasting person to break his fast. Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam replied, Allah grants the same reward to the one who gives a fasting person to break the fast a mere date or a drink of water or a drink of milk. This is a month, the first of which brings Allah's mercy, the middle of which brings His forgiveness, and the last of which brings emancipation from the fire of Jahannam. Whosoever lessens the burden of his servants, bondsmen, in this month Allah will forgive him and free him from the fire of Jahannam. And in this month 4 things you should continue to perform in great number, 2 of which will be to please your Lord, while the other 2 shall be those without which you cannot do. Those which shall be to please your Lord are that you should in great quantity bear witness that there is no deity to worship except Allah Ta'ala, and make much istighfar. And as for those without which you cannot do, you should beg of Allah entrance into paradise and ask Him refuge against Jahannam. And whoever gave a person who fasted to drink, Allah Ta'ala will grant him, the giver, to drink from my fountain, such a drink whereafter the person shall never again feel thirsty until he enters Jannah. Commentary. All the points which this hadith draws attention have been further emphasized in numerous other ahadith on the great virtues of Ramadan. Quite a number of important points are brought here to notice. Firstly, it should be noted that Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam delivered this sermon at the end of the month of Sha'ban. The obvious reason being that He intended to put into our minds the great importance of the month of Ramadan, so that we could remember and not allow 1 second of this month to go by without giving it to the full importance it deserves. Therefore, attention is drawn to Laylatul Qadr, about which is said later. Then attention is drawn to the fact that fasting has been made compulsory by day by Allah Ta'ala, who has also made sunnah tarawih salah by night. From this hadith it is noted that the command for tarawih prayers too comes from Allah Ta'ala Himself. Besides this, in all the hadith where Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam says, I have made it sunnah, is mainly to emphasize its importance. All the authorities of Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah are agreed that the fact that tarawih is sunnah. Mawlana Shah Abul Haq Dilwi wrote in his book that should people of any town fail to perform tarawih prayers, the Muslim ruler should make them do so by force. Here one point should be noted. Many are of the opinion that one may listen to the full Quran being recited in a certain masjid in 8 or 10 nights and then stop performing tarawih with jama'ah. Thereafter the virtue of the sunnah will have been attained. This is wrong. By doing this, the one sunnah will be fulfilled and other omitted. There are 2 things. Firstly, it is sunnah to hear the Quran being fully recited in tarawih in Ramadan. Secondly, it is sunnah to perform tarawih with jama'ah throughout Ramadan. Both should be performed with care. As for those who are traveling and are unable to perform both sunnah because of uncertainty as to where they will be, then for them it is advisable that in the first few days of Ramadan they should have the full Quran read in tarawih, so that the recitation is complete. Then they should attend tarawih wherever they find the opportunity. In this way the Quran will also be completed and their work will not be hampered. Another point that is brought to our notice in the hadith is that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam informed us that any nafil deed in Ramadan is rewarded as much as a fard in normal times, and a fard in Ramadan carries a reward of 70 fara'id outside of Ramadan. Our faults. At this point we should ponder on our ibadah. How much importance do we attach to it in Ramadan? How many nafil do we perform? As for fard deeds, we observe how numerous people who after having eaten sahri get back into bed with the result of the Fajr Salah being neglected. Many perform it but with not jama'ah. It gives the impression that we give thanks to Allah for the food we had eaten for sahri by not performing the most important fard or by not performing it with jama'ah. Such a salah has been termed defective. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that there is no salah for those near the masjid except in the masjid. In the kitab Mazahir Haq, we find that there is no reward for the salah of a person who does not perform salah with jama'ah without any valid reason or excuse. Similarly, in numerous cases at the time of iftar, Maghrib salah is missed, and many who do not come to the masjid miss the takbir at the beginning or miss the first rak'ah. Many people who hasten to get over Taraweeh salah early and even perform the Isha salah before the time of Isha commences. That is why we look after our very important fara'id salah in Ramadan. Sometimes in the process of performing one fard, 3 other fards are destroyed. How often do we even see the time of Dhuhr salah going by because we are asleep, while the time of Asr going by because we are too busy buying, selling or cooking to prepare for iftar? If such is the case with the fara'id, then can we imagine how much less important it is to perform nafil actions? One finds that because of sleep, the time of Salatul Ishraq, of sunrise, and Salatul Duha before noon go by. And what about Salat Awabin just right after Maghrib? Here we find ourselves busy with iftar, and when thinking about Taraweeh after about an hour, this salah is too wasted. Further, we find that the Salat Tahajjud, the time is the same for Sahri, with the result of this too also goes by. One may make 1,000 excuses for not finding time for these nawafil. These are all excuses for not performing these salah. We see that there are many who do find the time to do all these ibadat during the previous months. I personally had observed my Ustad Lana Khalil Ahmed during many a Ramadan. He was a weak, sickly person of advanced age, but in spite of these drawbacks, he used to read 1 1/4 juz of the Quran in nafil namaz after Maghrib. Thereafter, he used to have meals for about half an hour after performing all the other necessities in preparation for Taraweeh. He used to stand in Taraweeh for about 2.5 hours when he was in India, and when he was in Medina Munawwara, the duration was 3 hours. Thereafter, he used to sleep about 2 or 3 hours according to the season. Then he used to again recite the Quran in Tahajjud until about half an hour before Fajr. Then he ate Sahri. From the time until Fajr, he remained busy with reading Quran or reciting other waza'if. With the grayness of dawn, he performed Fajr Salah. Thereafter, he remained in meditation, muraqabah, until Ishraq. Having performed Ishraq, he used to write his famous kitab, Bazl al-Majhood, commentary on Abu Dawood. Then he normally attended to letters and dictating replies up to midday. Then he used to rest up to Zuhr Salah. Between Zuhr and Asr, he used to recite the Quran again. From Asr namaz until Maghrib, he used to be busy with tasbih and answering the queries of those who visited him. When he completed Bazl al-Majhood, then part of the morning used to be spent in tilawah and studying some monumental religious works, especially Bazl al-Majhood and Wafa al-Wafa. This was his daily program for nafil ibadah throughout the year. In Ramadan, however, he used to spend a bit more time in his ibadah, making the rak'ahs longer. For the ordinary person to observe the special programs the other pious elders had for Ramadan would be difficult. Shaykh al-Hind Mulana Mahmud al-Hasan used to remain in nafil salah from after Taraweeh until Fajr, while also listening to the Quran recited by various Hufadh one after another. Mulana Shah Abdul Rahim Raipuri remained busy with tilawah, recitation of the Quran day and night throughout Ramadan. There used to be no time for attending to correspondence or meeting visitors. Only his special ones were allowed to wait on him after Taraweeh for a short period while he drank a cup of tea. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the tawfiq to act upon whatever has been said and read and to benefit from the Taleem of Fazail-e-Aamal. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.